Disclaimer: this is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before putting your money to work. With that out of the way, let's have some fun and enjoy the episode. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Rich Off Games podcast. It's your boy CB checking back in with y'all. This is episode 35, y'all. Happy to be here. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope y'all had an amazing weekend. Happy July 4th. Happy Independence Day. Hope you all enjoyed yourself this weekend and had a safe time wherever y'all was at, man. I see people in Houston turning up, going crazy. See people in Dallas going crazy. So yeah, man, I hope y'all had a great time. But without further ado, let's get started and let's get right to it. But before we get into it, I do want to say a few things. Make sure to know you got to go through the storm in order to see the rainbow. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be something that is just going to fall in your lap and the success is just going to be had within a snap of a finger. You got to go through the process. You got to grow through the process. And you got to take on trials and tribulations along the journey in order to see the result. Anything that's easy in life is not worth having. Anything worth having is not going to be easy. So you got to be willing to go through the storm. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in the same routine, same way of living for the rest of your life. Now, if you want that for you, that's great. But if you don't, then you got to be willing to make sacrifices and do things that are going to be uncomfortable for certain periods of time. So today, y'all, I wanted to talk a little bit about something I was reading up on, an article I was reading up on. And it was just talking about 10 habits that unsuccessful people have. Now, this is really interesting to me because I talk a lot about the successful habits and people who are winners and successful people that want to pursue life and take everything they can out of life, have the kind of habits and the kind of traits and the kind of mentality that they have. But I also want to talk more about the flip side and what people who aren't successful and the traits that they have and the habits that they have, so that you can be mindful of what to look out for, pay attention to when you're acting every day, doing everyday activities on your own as your own individual person, and the people you hang around, the people you surround yourself with, the kind of mentality, the kind of habits, the kind of things that they're doing as well. All right, so this is a mixture of habits brought up by Charlie Munger throughout his course of life, and he pretty much said a few different things. So I just want to point out a few of them that I felt needed to be addressed and kind of speak on them a little bit. So let's talk about it. Starting out with number one, we have a strong one. Consumption of alcohol, consumption of chemicals to affect your mood or alter your mood or your way of perceiving things. Now, this is a very touchy subject because a lot of people do it for enjoyment, but this is an interesting one because when you first start consumption of any drug or chemical, most times you're doing it for enjoyment purposes. You want to, let loose, relief a little bit, relax, whatever. It starts off as something that's light and fun, but then over time it compounds into something that's strong and dangerous, hard to get rid of. It's a habit that is created that can really have major impacts and damages on your life. So consumption of drugs, it alters your ability to be able to perceive things and think properly when you're handling business, when you're in your career path that you're pursuing a certain thing in. It alters your ability and effectiveness to be able to focus on that one thing. You're distracted a lot, you're lazy, your energy's not the same. Meanwhile, the person that's not doing the drug or not taking the consumption of the substance abuse is sharp-minded. He's locked in. He or she's locked in. He or she is able to do 5 times, 10 times, 20 times more work than what you're doing and outputting because they're not consuming bad things that's harming their body. You gotta know the importance of things you're consuming and putting into your body. Now, it doesn't even have to be a addiction to a drug. It can be an addiction to anything that's harmful financially, mentally, socially. You can have bad social skills because you have too much consumption of social media. Being on social media too much and scrolling on your phone all day takes away from your ability to properly think about things in a way that open your mind to think about other ideas and new ways to think. So you have to be mindful of the consumption of things, because something that can seem enjoyable for the period of time that you're using it can turn into a strong addiction that's hard to break over time. So you want to be mindful of what you're consuming on a day-to-day basis, and consume the things that help benefit your life and help you uplift your life and grow, rather than that help degrade and take away from your life and take away time from your life as well. In real time, and the time that you possibly have on this earth just gets shortened, just simply due to the fact that you have damaged your body in a way that can't be repaired. So be mindful of that. The second thing that he mentioned that stuck out to me was people who are not in the places they want to be, or have bad habits or bad mentalities. They have the mentality to be envious of other people. Be envious and jealous of somebody else's success. Now, you can be a lot of things, but being envious is not gonna get you anywhere. I'd rather you be greedy than be envious. Being greedy is gonna get you possibly more money. You can then use that money to do something more with your life. Being envious is just you pouring energy into somebody else's life, and now that person doesn't even care, probably doesn't even acknowledge what you're envious about or jealous about. They're just living their life, doing their thing. Meanwhile, you're over here stuck in the same spot, in a dirty apartment with Cheetos all over the place, upset about how this person's living their life. Go live your life. Go live your life. Go be who you want to be. Why are you scrolling on TikTok through this person's page and just looking at all his videos, and his or her video and just hating on them for no reason? What'd they do to you? Why do you have so much resentment and envy built up in you? That's weird. That's just weird. I'm not gonna lie. You gotta enjoy your life, and the time you have on earth is not meant to be spent worrying about somebody else's life, worrying about what somebody else is doing, worrying about how this person got there, and oh, this person isn't really successful, oh, this person isn't really making his money. Who cares? Go get your money up. Go get your money, go make your money, go make your moves, go do what you gotta do, and create your life so that other people can watch you live your life. Why are you trying to watch other people live their life and be jealous of it at the same time? That has no productivity at all whatsoever. I have no reason why people do this, but for some reason they think it must be an enjoyable thing. It must just be something that people like doing. It's kind of like how people like watching Love Island or drama shows, drama series, and drama TV and stuff like that. Like, you'd rather sit in front of a TV and television and watch another person create a relationship and have a relationship with someone, rather than go build your own relationship, or rather than go develop your own relationship and experience something with somebody that you can really build with in real time, in the physical world. Why? It doesn't make sense. So don't be envious of people. Go create your life and do the things you want to do in your life. Stop being jealous. There's too much jealousy and there's too much negativity out here in this world already as it is. So stop being jealous of other people. There's so much abundant resources and abundant opportunity for people to win. It's just on you to figure out what it is you want to do in your life so you can have what the other person that you're jealous of has. Stop being jealous and just go get it on your own. Being jealous gets you nowhere. Point blank, period. The third thing that stuck out to me that Charlie Munger mentioned was people who don't get back up after getting knocked down. People who give up. People who don't try again. You think that Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players ever, didn't get picked on a team going into high school, varsity. If he had given up then in high school, he wouldn't be who he is today. He wouldn't be known as the man he is today. Serena and Venus Williams' father didn't give up on them as children, and growing up in the hood, growing up in a violent environment where a lot of killing, a lot of death, a lot of drugs, a lot of things going on in this world are distractions, not allowing them to focus and have tunnel vision on the things that they need to do. Had he just given up on his family, we wouldn't know who Serena or her sister is today. Anything in life worth pursuing is not going to be easy. There's going to be trials, there's going to be tribulations, there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be everything in the book that you're going to face. Even the Bible, it shows you that time and time again. You cannot give up after getting knocked down. You will not give up after getting knocked down. Get up, get back up, go back in, and try again. Just like a boxer getting knocked on the ground. 1, 2, 3. Within 3 seconds, I need to get back up. It's over with. If I don't give it 3 seconds, KO, it's a wrap. You gotta put blood, sweat, and tears into everything that you're doing and leave it all on the field. Leave it all on the field. Do everything you can to win. Do everything you can. And if you lose, get up and do it again. If you lose, get up and try again and again and again and again until you get a different result. Even if you're getting different results, but there's still losses, that's okay, because that means you're trying different things and you're figuring it out. As long as you're figuring it out, that's all that matters. If you really want the things you say you want, you got to be willing to try again and again and again until you get that result. So don't give up. People who give up, they're the ones that's at the grocery store working and clocking in and clocking out, tired, miserable, upset, frustrated, mad, envious, envious of other people's success because the things that they did when they tried, it didn't work for them, so they gave up. Now they watching other people live their dreams and seeing their success. The whole time, the person that's seeing the success, or the person that they're seeing have the success, they just didn't give up. They just got back up after getting knocked down. They went through the storm. You gotta go through the storm. You gotta go through the storm. You gotta go through the storm. The fourth thing that Charlie Munger mentioned was giving in to psychological denial. What does that mean? For example, you're oblivious to the reality of what the situation is. So, for example, if you're in school, have bad grades, and you're not applying yourself and making an effort to do anything to change your situation, and you think that everything's just okay, you're in psychological denial. Literally, psychological denial. So you gotta be optimistic, realistic, and an opportunist who's seeing ways to find a solution. You gotta make the ball roll. You gotta keep the wheel rolling. If you don't keep the wheel rolling, then you're not gonna get the success you want. Yet you have the mentality of somebody who wants to see the success, but you're psychologically in denial of what the reality of the situation is. Like, okay, I don't got a job, but I want to make $1 million. I'm not applying myself to start a business, and I want to make $1 million. That's psychological denial. What are you doing? That's delusional. You're not creating anything of value, and you want a result that isn't aligning with your actions. You have to do the things that you say you want in action. You can't just say you want it and expect it to fall in your lap. That's not how life works. That's not how anything in life works. You don't just make a wish to a genie. This is not Aladdin. You don't make a wish to a genie and then the wish comes true and you get the thing you want. No, that's not how it works. You gotta work for it. You gotta put the action and the time and effort and energy in to the thing in order to get the result. So don't be in denial about where you are. Accept where you are. If you don't like it, change it. Make the changes necessary to live the life that you want. Because you are in full control of your life, your situation, your position, and where you're at. You make the choices of your life. You don't let anyone else dictate that. You are the person that is in control of your life. So do better for yourself and win big. The last thing that stuck out to me to tie everything together, the icing on the cake, being a know-it-all. Being someone who thinks they know everything. You don't know everything. don't know everything. You think you know everything, but you really don't. If you knew everything, you might be in a better off spot in life. You wouldn't be watching this video if you knew everything. Let's start there. You gotta be willing to learn from others. And those who think they know it all most times are not willing to learn from others. They think they know it all. They want to talk over people. They don't want to conversate or communicate in a way that is effective enough to learn something. They just want to talk their opinion and their voice and feel that they're right in every situation and nobody else is right. That is the number one most loser thing a loser can do. Think they know it all. You don't know it all. Be open-minded and be capable of learning from people. If you can't be capable of being taught, how can you ever expect to not only teach, but how can you ever expect to pass down the information and knowledge that you have? Because you're only one person, so how can you grow a team of people around you who also know the same thing you know if you're not willing to teach them in a way that helps them teach? Because people who are good teachers are also really good at being taught. So they're good at learning and they're good at teaching because they're able to understand and consume information in a way that helps them regurgitate and give back that information as well in a way that helps other people learn too, to pass it down. But the person that knows it all is so busy filling their mind up with the thoughts that they think and the things and the information and knowledge that they have that they can't even properly process things that other people are saying in a way that helps them learn something new because they're so single-minded. Get out of the single mentality mindset. There are so many different outcomes. There are so many different data points. There's so many different pieces of information. There's so much in the world that different people know affect different things. So you thinking that you know everything is crazy. You don't know everything. Be willing to learn from others. Be willing to consume information from other people and other ethnicities, other communities, other groups, because there's so much valuable resources and information learning from other people. You can learn so much on your own. Now, I'm not taking away from doing your research and doing all these things, but human interaction, human connection, mentorship, these are things that individuals who are looking to grow something that they haven't grown before need, because you're trying to go somewhere you've never gone, yet there's this person who's gone there who knows it, and you think you know more than that person. That's crazy. That's insane. You gotta learn from that person because he knows it. Why would you not take the information and advice from him if he or she is there already? Take the information and the advice from them, apply it, and do better in your life. Don't go into every room, every conversation thinking you're the smartest thing and you're the most intelligent person and thinking you know everything. You don't know everything. Go into the rooms that you don't know everything in. Go into the rooms that you aren't the smartest person in. Go into the rooms that you aren't the most intelligent in, and see the difference that you get from that. If you guys want more tips and tricks about day trading and investing, make sure to click the link in the bio, www.continuebelief.com. I share a lot of free resources and tools, tips and tricks about how to day trade, how to get started investing, and so much more. So make sure you guys check out the link in the bio. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to leave a like and follow. And yeah, see you guys later. Bottom line is, if you want to have different results in life, change these things. If you were doing one of these 5 things, change it and see how the results you have in life change for you. Today's investment tip of the week: have patience. It's true what they say about patience being a virtue. It really is. Patience in the market is the most important thing that you can have. 9 times out of 10, most people just get priced out of their moves because they weren't patient enough or they didn't have enough time. The more time, the better in the market. The more time, the better in investing, because the more time you have on your side, the better, because you get more opportunities, more chances to see a result come about. Rather than limiting your time and putting a strain on the time for something to happen or be had, it really restricts you. And then alongside that, being patient is what really takes people out, because for example, I took a trade this week that went up over 300%. I only captured about 30-40%. Great, that's a great trade, 30-40% is amazing. Had I held the position though and stayed patient in the position, that position would have 10x'd for from 30 to 300. 10x. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta be willing to wait longer. Be willing to wait longer. If it goes in your favor, great. If it doesn't go in your favor, at least you tried. Be willing to wait longer, because that's gonna give you the results that you want in a big way. You gotta be willing to wait out the idea or the play to happen. Now, it might not happen right when you want it to, but when it happens and when it pays, it's gonna be amazing, because now you get paid and redeemed you get rewarded for your patience, because patience pays. In the market, at least, patience pays. So you gotta be patient. You gotta be willing to wait. You gotta be disciplined in your patience. All right, y'all. So today I want to talk a little bit. I want to do something different. I want to talk a little bit about some stats. So we're gonna pull up some numbers here. What numbers we're going over today? We're going over the numbers of how the market performed this week, this previous week from June going into July. And we're gonna talk about the top 3 sectors. The top 3 sectors that performed well this week, and the top 3 companies within each sector that performed well this week as well. So, all right, 3 leading sectors this week. So we have a broken down chart here, and I'm probably going to show it in the video. So if you guys are not watching this, you're listening to this over on the podcast, make sure to go check it out on YouTube at Continue to Believe Network. We have top 3 performance sectors. First up, we have financials, seeing about a 4% return on the week. Next up, we have healthcare, seeing about a 2% return on the week. Lastly, we have industrial, seeing almost a 2% return on the week, seeing 1.5% return on the week for industrials, about over 2% on the week for healthcare, and over 3.5% for financials. The top performing companies. The reason why these companies led, actually, we're going to go into that first. For financials, the Fed's annual bank stress test resulted in all 24 of 32 major banks clearing their capital minimums, triggering waves of dividend hikes, buybacks, announcements. Momentum carried through that week. Momentum of that news carried on into this week, and investors priced in shareholder returns boosting, plus ongoing tailwinds from banking deregulation talks. For healthcare, a rotation out of richly valued tech names, and pretty much a push of capital going into healthcare. That was one of the reasons why healthcare has been doing well. It's pretty much a rotation play for healthcare. Same thing for industrials. We're seeing continued strength from AI-driven data centers being built out. A lot of power and electrical equipment being in high demand, aerospace and defense spending, resilient economic data supporting these names. The top 3 companies for financials that performed well this week were Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, and Goldman Sachs. As for healthcare, we have Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson, and UNH, United Health Group. As for industrials, we have Caterpillar, GE Vernova, and GE Aerospace. So yeah, those are the top performing sectors this week. So what does that tell me about where we're going? Tech had a pullback going into the end of this week. We had an initial push up higher, and then semiconductors and memory start to see a little bit of a sellout going into the end of this week. But we rebounded a little bit on the S&P because of those 3 companies, because of those 3 sectors, and we saw some strength kick in from that. So going into this next week, I think that it's going to be good to watch financials, because I think they're still undervalued. Like Robinhood was a name that wasn't mentioned that had a really good run up. They did mention Morgan Stanley, and Bank of America is another one I would say watch, keep an eye out for. Those names I would say watch for continuation higher going into this next week. Possible pullbacks, but more so continuation because they've been undervalued this year. Healthcare, we're seeing the same thing, a rotation. So Eli Lilly, J&J, those are the top 2 that I would say watch. Those are the only ones that I prefer to look at when it comes to healthcare, and I'm actually invested in Eli Lilly. So yeah, that's the one that I watch. But there's other names as well. United Health Group seems to be making a bounce back. I don't know if it's worth investing, maybe trading. I don't know about investing. I gotta look more into their company reports and see what's been going on for them. So yeah, I don't know too much about United Health Group, but I do know Eli Lilly and J&J are the leaders in that space, so they're the ones to go with. And then for industrials, Caterpillar's been on an amazing tear. It seems like it's cooling off a little bit, but it's still some demand there, of course, because they're the main guys building out the AI data centers, and so you can't ever go wrong with that. So with that being said, we talked about the best performing sectors. Now I want to talk about the worst performing sectors this week. Starting out with energy, down over 6%. XLE, ticker symbol XLE, down over 6%. We have real estate down over 2.5%. And lastly, we have consumer staples down over 1.92% this week. Consumer staples, yeah. Energy, I definitely think is a good buy. Most of the reason why energy is coming down is because oil is coming down. So most energy ETFs are invested majority into oil companies like ExxonMobil, Chevron, etc. And so a lot of those companies had a little bit of a pullback after the news regarding the Strait. And so we've been seeing some pullback coming from energy, but I definitely think that the energy sector is a sector worth investing in long term. Particularly energy around AI, but any energy is good because energy is going to be the most important thing for AI and for our humanity to use technology. In the technology world, energy is going to be very, very important. Clean energy is going to be very, very important because that's the more quality energy that doesn't hurt us or the world. So be mindful of that. Real estate, I'm not too keen on investing in real estate as a stock. I think that you should just, if you want real estate, you should just buy real estate. Don't buy the stock real estate to have exposure to the overall sector. I'd rather you buy your own properties. Now, if you can't afford it, then yes, go buy D.R. Horton or, I would say D.R. Horton. I don't know the top performing real estate company. I'll look that up. But if I had to guess, I would say D.R. Horton would be the one. So I would say go with D.R. Horton. Or it's BlackRock. BlackRock could have some pretty strong investment portfolio in real estate. So BlackRock would be another one, but we are seeing a little bit of drawdown in real estate. So if you don't want a full exposure to having your own property, then buying an ETF of real estate is not a bad option either. I preferably would rather do the other option, but everybody is their own person. And then of course consumer staples, it's not really too crazy of a sector. It's a sector that's there and needed for everyday usage, everyday life. We all go to grocery stores, we all go shopping, we all consume. So Walmart being the leader in the consumer staple space, Costco being right there next to them, Amazon as well, I would consider consumer staple / tech. Those would be like the top 3 companies I would say invest in. Yeah, those are the weak performing sectors and the strong performing sectors. So definitely get positioning in energy, especially the energy companies that are building out AI. And consumer staples, if you are to get in that, buy Walmart, buy Costco, can't go wrong with that. They're going to always be strong performing consumer companies because they have it, they got it, you know what I mean? So outside of that, some things you can expect to see this week. We have the Fed meeting on Wednesday. So the Fed meeting is going to be had at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We don't really have any earnings reports coming up this week, but earnings season is right around the corner. The first company that will be reporting their earnings that's important is Delta. So American Airlines and all the other airline companies will probably be reporting going into the next week. So that's something to be mindful of. And then right after American Airlines and all the airline companies report, we typically have banks, and I believe right after banks we start to see some software and tech companies come in. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see. We've been running higher and higher off of the earnings reports that we've been getting because the earnings reports have been outstanding. So I believe that most investors are just looking to see that continue, and that those reports to continue to grow, continue to be great for the market to continue to run. I think that's what's going to hold the market up and help us see higher. If we don't see great performing earnings reports, I don't know how the market's going to respond because on with that, and then the new Fed and the upcoming midterms being an issue, then straight to her, like, if we don't have something positive to look forward to, I don't know what the market's going to hold on to go higher. So we need strong performing companies to continue to strongly perform well on their earnings reports. We'll know more once they do that, and that will give us that extra leg up if needed. But I do believe we can see higher as long as we have a story to believe in. You know, the market loves a good story. The market loves a good, successful story. If we don't have anything successful going on, that's when fear kicks in. That's when selling pressure kicks in. That's when people are uncertain about different decisions and different things going on. They see Micron reporting earnings very strong. They see Microsoft reporting earnings. They see Nvidia. They see Apple. They see all these companies reporting very good earnings. That gives them confidence in the market to continue to run higher. So yeah, those are things to be mindful of. With that being said, this is going to conclude this episode of the Rich Out Games podcast, episode 35. I thank you all once again for tuning in. I want to say thank you, God, for another day that was not promised. Thank you for allowing me to do this and be on here to talk to you guys, give you guys game and information about what I enjoy talking about, investing in economics. If you guys took some value from this, make sure to leave a comment, show some love, show some support however you can. And I will see you guys same time, same place next week. God bless.